And welcome in to this week's edition of Off the Wall here on Claibs Online. He's a guest I just had on Weekend Joe this past weekend, and we welcome him in from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He is the blues writer for the Post-Dispatch. Jim Thomas. JT, what's going on?
How you doing, man? I'm hanging in there.
I'm doing well. As you see, I have my wall of rally towels behind me because
I love that you're the Battlehawks down there.
I do. It's a collector's item. I have one from each home game. I have the white one and then I have the blue one too. So it's both of them are collector's items. I think now that the Battlehawks are no more. So we had this idea pop up when we had Rob Fisher on recently, and I saw the wall of memorabilia behind him. So we're going around, we're finding people that to showcase, because with the home studios that everybody has now with Zoom and Skype, everybody's showing off something behind them on their mantle, on their wall. So JT, I want to know what's a big thing that you have on your wall from all of the years of football and hockey and all the sports that you've covered?
Well, we called it the Wall of Fame back at the old Rams Park. Remember I had the desk in the corner and I just had all kinds. You remember that, all kinds of pictures on there.
Oh yeah.
I have a trimmed down version of that, but I do have a couple other props here. I want to show you this. This is a Rams Training Park media pass from 2008. This would have been the last year of Linehan when Haslett took over. Can you see me? Can you see that dark hair there? Does that show?
You have to hold it up. You have to hold it up towards your face a little more. Towards your face. Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow.
What the hell happened to me in 12 years? You think maybe it's covering all that losing football? Because from 08 on, it was just all disaster, right? You think that's it?
You think the early years, too. I mean, the early years jump-started that, right?
Yeah. So that's 2008. That doesn't seem that long ago to me. That was training camp. That was JoJo. That was the year. Remember the Rams trained up in Wisconsin at Concordia University, a beautiful setup right by Lake Michigan. And it was cool. It never even got to 80. But we knew Scott Linehan was in trouble at the start of training camp because we show up, and guess who didn't show up for camp? Steven Jackson. That was a long Steven Jackson holdout, and he didn't show up till like 4 days before the start of the season. And so that was kind of the beginning of the end. Here's something. This will just be quick. I never thought I'd have Canadian money, but $10 left for my last Canadian hockey trip. I like the trips. I like the trips to Canada. I'm not a guy that's traveled all over the world. I mean, I went to London for the first year of Jeff Fisher. They played and got their rear ends kicked by New England. Went to Tijuana. That's barely Mexico, right? I mean, that's I mean, so. I love those Canadian trips. This is one. This was a good day. And remember the Legends of the Dome game?
Oh, yeah.
This is a photo signed by Isaac Bruce. Just thanks for the coverage and whatever. That was a great day and a kind of a great kind of way to really maybe say it was a little bittersweet and nostalgic, but there were maybe 14,000 fans there. They had a good time with that game. Were you out there? I don't know if you remember.
I didn't make it to that one, but I imagine those 14,000 were trying to be as loud as 60,000 back in 1999.
Yeah, and so just great for Isaac to do that. And so now here, what I'm going to do, and tell me if you can. Well, first I'll show you. Where is it? Oh, I don't have it. I was going to show you my COVID-19 mask when I walk the dog. I take it. But it's an NFL one, obviously. It's got like logos of teams on it and whatnot. My daughter-in-law got that. I don't know where she got it from. Here, a little family one here. I have two sons, the two West Pointers, Army captain. One is still on active duty. The other's reserve, lives in St. Louis now, and is in planning and research for the St. Louis Police Department. But this is my second son. This is the plaque he got when he passed airborne school. He's in Kuwait right now. Oh, wow. And he was supposed to be home this month, but because of the restrictions on travel, he's stuck there for at least, I guess, a couple more months. So he's anxious to be home. So John, I'm sure you'll be watching at some point. Good luck to you, and stay safe there in Kuwait. Now, what I want to do is try to turn this around, and if it doesn't work, you can just cut it out of the your podcast here. This is my reduced Wall of Fame. So I'm going to turn this around, and let me know. Do I need to get closer?
Oh, wow.
Can you see any of that?
Yeah, you can. Who is that? Who's that? The media credential there on the right. Is that a Burwell? Bryan Burwell?
Bryan Burwell. God, I love the guy. I cried like a baby when he died. I had to write the obit for the paper when he died. And, I've never written a story before where at times I was literally sobbing. And so, God, what a great guy. And we all miss him. We all think of him. He had such a joy of life, and he just loved work. He was just a great guy. I don't know if you can see this one down here.
Yeah.
That's Tony Wiley, who was once part of the early St. Louis Rams PR staff. This is the young JT. We're pointing at something before a press conference. Tony Wiley is, I believe, now a big shot with the Washington Redskins. Anyway, he is going to present Isaac Bruce at the Hall of Fame. So that's going to be pretty cool. Now the light went off. Can you still?
We could still see it.
You see this white paper?
I see it. It's a note from. Let's see. Do I look nervous? Who is that from?
These are all. I want at some point to write the top 10 Jordan Binnington quotes.
Nice.
And so this is. I've written down to remember them. Remember who's Montgomery in the playoffs, and do I look nervous? He had a great quote about wearing the sunglasses during an indoor evening airing of the ESPYs. Remember a few Blues were on there. I've told Binnington about this. When I get to 10, we're going to run it online and have the fans pick what their favorite. And I'm only up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jordan has been a little more low key this year, and so. I don't know if we're going to get to 10, but I think we can. So I've been keeping track of that. Now, underneath this from days gone by, that's Mike Martz there, if you can see that.
Yeah.
And I got along well with him. He out of all the people I covered, maybe he was the one that. And you're not supposed to get overly friendly with these guys as a beat writer, but I don't know. We just clicked. We got along, and this is he and I before training camp. He must have been. I've got a little smile on the face. He must have been cussing about some player there to me. Like, can you believe that sack of bleep out there trying out at left tackle? But there he is. And then one other one there. Can you see that coach in the middle there?
That's Spags. Yeah, I just talked to him down in Miami a few months ago at a media night. Yep.
Yeah, he was tough to cover. We didn't get along tremendously. We were civil to each other, but away from football, he's a really nice person. And I haven't texted him lately, but for years after he was here, I'd text him a couple times a year, or he would text me. This is Mike Mornier, who worked with the Rams. This is before, I think he's working with the Ravens then as an assistant coach, and I just came down the field to say hi to him, and we took the picture there. Now up here, all the way to the top.
Lower. You got to go a little lower.
Or do you see this photo
there you
here?
Go. You know what? I can tell in the background, JT. I can tell that is Thompson Hall in Macomb, isn't it?
Wow, you advanced to the lightning round. How about that?
Hey, I lived there my sophomore year. I know what that looks like.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is camp. This is Nick Wishart. So this had to be Nick was left in the 2003 season who helped me on the beat. This is me, and this is Shelby Burgett.
I know Shelby well, yeah.
Yeah. So Shelby, cheap shot area. Shelby makes me look thin, don't you think? No, Shelby was great. I had a great time in Macomb. I really enjoyed the time up there. Here's one from. Can you see this? This is from Rams Park. Bob Wallace in the middle with the Santa Claus hat.
Okay.
And that's Steve Cordy, funny guy from the Belleville News Democrat, and me. This is in the media room at at Rams Park. At Christmas time, Wallace would put a Santa's hat and he'd go, give little checks or gift cards to the employees there. And I still talk to Bob. Bob is a sports attorney now for Thompson Coburn, and
Yes.
he's still in town. But at that time, when he first joined the Rams, well, this is much later, but in '95, he was one of the highest ranking African Americans in the league. So it's always good to, and I still, maybe once a year, I have lunch with Bob. Real good guy. When he was with the Rams, he could be blunt, he could be honest, but he could dish it out, but he could also take it. So I really enjoy Bob Wallace. And then I'll show you one more here. Good old Artis there. Can you see Artis, Twyman?
You're gonna have to go a little lower, I think. There's Artis. Yeah, a little there. Yep.
Yep. He was whispering in my ear, "No, Jim, we're not moving. Why do you think we're moving? Stop it." Oh, he wasn't. So anyway, Artis is out there, and I'm sure he's doing well. Once or twice a year, I'll text him to see how he's doing. But I don't get a chance to watch a ton of the NFL because I'm just so immersed in the hockey. But I'll try to watch the Rams once in a while. But I tell you what, the draft here. I mean, I used to be so into it. I probably couldn't name 10 players that are getting drafted now. It's amazing how you get out of that so much.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. If it wasn't for social media, I would have completely forgot that the draft was this week. I texted a few people in Chicago to come on the podcast this week to talk Last Dance, and they all said they were getting ready for the draft, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. You guys have football, so you you quickly forget about that. JT, thank you so much for letting us inside your home and showing us some of those memories. I hope Shelby ends up getting to watch this. I covered quite a few high school games with him in my first radio job. Yes, my first radio job. Yeah.
All those people up in Macomb. I used to enjoy those 2, 3. Well, in Vermeil's case, we were up there 5 weeks one year.
Yeah, K100 in Macomb was my first radio job, and doing play-by-play for some high school games, and did a lot of stuff with Shelby. Yep.
Very nice. Can you sign off in your radio voice? Maybe can you take a step?
I never had a radio voice. I never did anything like that. But it was just the morning show on K100, and I had to keep it very, very clean and not raunchy at all because of the especially in the summer for the demographic that was in Macomb during the summer months.
I hear you. I feel you.
JT, thank you so much for being our guest here on Off the Wall.
You bet. My pleasure. Take care now.